Hi, I'm Steven. That's John. We're from Just Got Played, and we're bringing you MrX's top 25 games of all time. So, what is that? You can go back and watch our video from December 1st, where we did the number 25 game to get more details. But essentially, I surveyed several people for the top 50 games of all time, used an algorithm to put all those together and make an aggregated top 25 games of all time list. And today, we have a repeat offender on the list. December 20th at number 6, we have No Thanks. So No Thanks has been on the list before. On 2018, it was number 22. Back in 2019, it was number 5. 2019, it was number 14. And then we're at number 6 this year. So No Thanks is, how do you describe it? It's almost like an auction game, but like a reverse auction or something, because in reality, you don't want the card. You're paying to not get the card. So there are cards that run in number from 1 to 35. And you remove some of them from the deck, which you'll see why that's important later. And then you turn over a card and you have some tokens. And essentially, you've got a choice. You can take the card with any tokens that have been placed on it, or you could put a token on it and say, no thanks, and pass it on to the next person. And that's it. On your turn, you decide, am I going to take the card of the tokens or put a token and pass it? If you don't have any tokens, you've got to take the card. So why not just take the card? Well, cards are essentially negative points. So I mentioned the cards have points from 1 to 35, and those are negative points. So if you take the 30, that's minus 30 points, right? Part of the trick, though, is that if you have a run of cards, you only score the negative points for the lowest number in the run. So if I have the 10 card and the 8 card, I've got negative 18 points. But if I get the 9 card, now I have 10, 9, 8, and I'm only scoring negative 8 points. So nobody wants that 9 card because it gives them, it's negative points to them. But to me, it's actually really good. So that's great. And that can get interesting because when you have a card like, say the 30 comes out, that's a really high card. Nobody wants that card, but maybe you have already taken the 31 for whatever reason. Well, the 30 is good to you. It actually saves you a point to take that card. So that card comes to you and you just take it, right? It's good for you. No. You put a coin on it and you pass it around the table. Why? Because nobody else wants that card. They're going to put a marker on it. The next person, the next person, the next person, the next person. It comes back to you. Now you can take the card and it has a whole bunch of those markers on it. So not only does that give you the flexibility of using those markers on cards you don't want to keep passing them around, but those markers also negate the negative points. So there's positive points at the end of the game. So you want to have as many of those as possible. Now I mentioned that some of the cards were missing. So you could take the 30 and then the 28 and be like, oh, I'm going to make bank when the 29 comes out. Nobody's going to want that card because if there's going to be no synergy between, I got both cards on the other side of it. There's going to be no synergy. Everybody's going to put a bunch of tokens on it. I'm going to make bank with that card. And then it's just not in the deck. Yep. And you really messed yourself up. So, John, what do you think about this game?
I love this game. It's also that it's a great push your luck moment because you do get that 30 and 28, and you got it with some chips on it because nobody wants those. So you got a decent bank of chips, which also add to your score at the end. So if you got a 10 and an 8 and you got some chips, you got negative 18 plus your chips, you might only have negative 12. So they both act as currency, they're points, but they also keep you from having to take cards that you do want. Because if you run out of cards, whenever you take a card, or if you run out of chips, whenever you take a card, the next card is offered to you first. So if you have no chips on it, you just got to take the next card and the next card, and you can get into a really rough spot on that. So you want to manage your chips so that you can put it on the card and pass it whenever you need to. You can push your luck and go, I'm going to get the 20 and the 18, and you're just waiting for that 19 to come around. But then when it comes around and it's got 12 chips on it, someone might take that card because it's only a 7-point loss to them, but it's going to cost you a lot more points than that. So for such a simple game that's easy to teach, and it's really only one decision every turn, do I want this card or no thanks? for such a simple game, there's a lot of gameplay within it, and it's just a fast, easy one to break out. And it's also a small box game. It's just a deck of cards and a bag of beads, essentially. So you can just have that with you. You can put it in your pockets, put it in your backpack, take it with you, and just break it out anywhere. It is really easy to play. It is really light, and it's easy to teach. So it's one of those games. It's a great filler, and it's a great way to just cool down at the end of the night as well.
Yeah, I mean, and you never play this game once, right? Everybody always
Yeah.
wants to play it multiple times in a row because it's so fast. And we play at 7 or 8 players. I mean, I think the game says you can't play it that many, but we play it that many anyway. Like whatever, it's just more
You don't
fun.
have to
with
boss
other
a me game.
players. Yeah, right. But and like you said, like you've got these markers, but you can't let yourself get down low. I mean, you put a marker on a card and you pass it. Now you have no markers, and it goes around or whatever. And then the person to the left of you like turns over the 27, puts one marker on it, and passes it to you. Now you got to take the 27 with one marker. And then you turn over the 30, you put your one marker on it and you pass it. And 4 or 5 other people put a marker on it. And now you've got to take that too, because you're out of markers, right? And so now you finally rebuilt your supply, but you took 57 points in the process. You just get unlucky, right? Like that. And and that's part of the fun, right? The chaos.
Mhm.
You don't know the numbers are going to come out or whatever order. And I've done it as a strategy where it just like I'm going to take the 33. I'm just going to take it, and I'm going to take it relatively early before it has a lot of chips on it, because then I'm going to make a lot of points with the 34 and the 35 and the 32, right? I'm just going to take those higher ones and just hope I get this, run of cards. And sometimes I do that and it just doesn't work out. Sometimes it's like works out great, and so there's just all kinds of different ways you can play this game, where you just wing it. Like you don't even have to have a strategy. You just wing it. It's fun, whatever. This falls almost in the party game category. I mean, I do sort of care if I win the game, right? I'm trying to actually, minimize my points or maximize my, whatever. When you're talking about data points, it's difficult, but, so I am trying to win. So maybe it's not necessarily a party game, but it definitely has a party atmosphere that the game comes with. So yeah, no thanks. Definitely one of my favorites.
Well, one of the things when I evaluate a game is how hard is it to teach, how easy is it for people to pick up, and a lot of times it's like this is a great intro to the hobby. I'll say that a lot of times when I'm talking about games. This goes a step beyond that. You can play this with people that have no interest in getting into the hobby. It's just such a simple enough game that you could play it with anybody. You could put this in a classroom and the kids can play it in between assignments or whatever. It's just one of those games that's so universal that you don't even have to be interested in board games to enjoy this experience. So it's just such a simple, elegant design of it that I really enjoy it for what it is. And it does become a party game. Someone comes up, they got the 34, 32. Everyone's waiting. They're going to get that 33. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? You flip the last card. It's not the 33. Table goes crazy. You're stuck with those points. There's just a lot of fun moments with it. It's easy to teach. It's easy to play. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. It's a great game. I like it. You like it. Other people must like it because it's all the way up here at number 6 on MrX's top 25 games of all time, which, by the way, is a contest. So every December, we run this a contest. At the end of the month, I'm going to draw a winner, and I'm going to draw from people who have left comments on our YouTube videos. So in today's video, why don't you tell me what you think about No Thanks? If you haven't played No Thanks, or you don't think about No Thanks, then, based sort of on our description of it, tell us about other games, party or otherwise, that you think are sort of similar games along those veins. I'd like to hear what your experiences are with those kind of games. But until tomorrow, when we break into the top 5 on December 21st with number 5, until then, I'm Steven. That's John. We're from Just Got Played, and thanks for joining us.